my name is Kari. I'm a certified nurse midwife, and today I have with me Alex Mooney. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So Alex is a photographer. She's been a photographer for about 9 years. In the last 6 years, she's focused on birth photography. So today we're mainly going to be focusing on some volunteer photography that she does for stillbirth families. But first, I want to know what's your favorite part of being a birth photographer for births in general?
It is just that once in a lifetime, never redo event that is just amazing to be able to capture for families. And other once in a lifetime events like weddings and stuff, I feel like you can always like restage those. You can't do that with birth, right? You can't put baby back. So it's just so incredible. And every single one I've attended is different than the last. And there's like, I don't know, it's so cool to be able to witness that, whether it's in the OR or someone's living room or on the floor of the hospital. It's a rush, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's such a miracle. I agree. It's so fun to be part of.
It
So for
is.
families that are maybe on the fence of whether they should get a birth photographer or not, what would you say to them?
It is something you will never regret having. So I always tell people, if they don't book it, that's fine. But I cannot tell you how many families that come back to me for their second or third or fourth kid and say, I regret not having this captured with, my first kid or second kid. And I'm that way too. Like my first two, like I don't really have any decent pictures, of their births, and I regret that. So it's something you will absolutely never regret. And there are so many moments that, whether you're giving birth or you're the support person or partner, that you think you will remember and you don't. And those photos are like such a great, I don't know, like memory jogger for your whole story that, even if things got intense or whatever, that you can pull up and recall because you have a photo of it.
I totally agree. I have a single photo taken on a cell phone from my first birth, and I wish I had more because you're right. It's a huge event in people's lives, and we should have captures of that.
Yeah.
So, do you have any photos that you're particularly proud of how they turned out, or would like to share with us what you were thinking while you captured it and how you took that specific photo?
Yeah, I actually have a few that I've won some awards for, which some of them are just dumb luck in how I captured it. But no, my goal every time I attend a birth is to make sure to get that like moment of birth photo, right? And it looks different for everybody. So these photos I think are really cool because they show how you can have this amazing moment of birth moment that's PG and shareable.
Right.
But also be so empowering, whether it's in a hospital setting or a birth center or at home. And it's just super cool to kind of see that raw emotion from everybody in the photo, obviously person who's having a baby and their partner, but also to the midwife or doctor that's helping deliver this baby. It's just a really cool thing to see. And yeah, and one of these, this is pre-COVID, the dad and big brother, who was almost 2 at the time, are literally right there watching mom give birth. So you can kind of see them in the background, which is just kind of neat. And also like now a timestamp of the times, because I don't see that happening again anytime soon.
Yeah. And even capturing the partner's response, like that's going back to about you'll never regret these photos, like seeing how the partner responds is just sometimes the most beautiful part of birth, with their excitement
Yeah.
or overwhelmed with emotion and so proud of their wife or partner for what they've done. So that's great photos to capture as well. I also hear that you do a different part of photography, that you volunteer your time to do something called Captures for Clark. So can you tell us a little bit about what that is and what inspired you to start it?
Yeah. So basically, Captures for Clark provides birth photography or after birth for families facing difficult prognoses of their unborn babies. Sometimes this is babies who unfortunately pass before they're born. Other times it's babies with, birth defect or congenital issue or chromosomal issue, and that they don't have a good prognosis for life. So I donate my time to those families to capture these memories for them, since it is going to be such a short time that they get with their baby. And, I have done bereavement photography for a while, but I really kind of got into it more when we lost our fourth kiddo, Clark. And I had my partner photographer, Victoria, which she doesn't do bereavements at all like that. And that's fine because people have boundaries and that's hers. But she said she'd be there for me. So she came and captured his birth, even though he, was stillborn. And I cherish those pictures. I'm actually sitting on my computer and I have one like literally behind my computer screen. So, I look at them every day, and whereas my other kids are running around crazy all the time and I can look at them and see them, I don't get that with him. So those photos give me kind of that memory. And since those photos were just so special and important to us, I wanted to give that back to families. As difficult as it may be for, me to do it, I kind of put my own emotions aside and really just focus on they are going to cherish these photos just like you do, and kind of keep snapping and wait till I get the car to get to the car to cry. But yeah, so
well, thank you so much for your service. That's just incredible that you do that for families.
Yeah.
And if there are families out there that are listening to this that eventually have a bad prognosis, how would they sign up for that? Or if there's birth workers, if they have a client that is in that situation and their family might not know, how would they contact you?
Yeah. So capturesforclark.com goes to my website, or you can just go to my website too, but it all routes to the same place. There's a Captures for Clark tab on my website that explains kind of the whole process and what I do. And there's like a contact me form, so they can just fill that out and I get an email and, them kind of get the ball rolling with the conversation.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I've gotten them where the inquiry's like over in Illinois or, just a little bit outside of my radius. And I don't leave those families in a lurch. I find them somebody who can take, that job for them. Try to do my best to make sure everybody's getting photos, even if maybe it's not necessarily me,
right.
If it's outside of St. Louis. So
that's awesome. So what would you say to families that are in a situation that was similar to yours with a difficult prognosis or a stillbirth? Was there anything that as you went through the process you found to be helpful as you coped with that you're willing to share?
Yeah. Now looking back, there's like a million things I wish I would have done. Right. Which I feel like hindsight's 2020. But I try to project that onto families when I hear, if it's an inquiry for a Captures for Clark or, something else that comes across, that I try to not be pushy, but be like, hey, this was super helpful for me and it might be helpful for you too. But, basically make all the possible memories you can. We did maternity photos after we knew Clark had already passed. I did not want to do them. I wanted to just lay in my pajamas and then go to the hospital the next day to deliver him. I didn't want, and again, my partner, photographer, Victoria, she was like, did not take no for an answer. And we did them. And again, I cherish those, so make those memories, take the pictures, and as hard and as sad as they might be, you can always not look at them and keep them aside, but you can't ever go back and retake them. And, same after baby's born, it's just, it hurts my heart when I hear families that are like, no, we don't want photos or anything. And it's like, oh, because, it's just, you can always take the photos. You never have to look at them. But, if you decide to, a week, a month, a year later, they're there. And if you don't take them, it's, you don't have that. So all the memories and anything that they can do to, remind them of this baby and how loved they are, whether they're in utero or when they're born, just make any of the kind of memories and take the pictures.
Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm. And I do see on your social media and those type of things that you include him in your family a lot. So what kind of ways are you still talking about it and bringing up their family and having him be a part of your family?
Yeah, so we have like a zillion bears and such, but we have one that's kind of our favorite that we always try to include in family photos. We're going to Florida for spring break in a month or so, and like it's already at the top of my list. Don't forget Clark Bear. And he's a Molly Bear, which is this company that makes bears for families who have had stillbirths or pregnancy or infant loss, and it's the exact weight of baby at birth or when they passed. So our bear is 2 pounds 12 ounces, which is exactly what Clark was. And it's just kind of neat that I don't know, you have that weight and you feel like he's there. So we always try to include him. It sucks because we have one complete family photo with him, when the kids came up to meet him after he was born, and that's it. So now we just try to include him any way we can. So we usually, grab his bear, or, we have a tree out front that we had planted for him. So we'll get pictures or, use that in different things for, have in front of his tree. So yeah, anything we can kind of do to.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to keep the memory alive. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's wonderful. We appreciate you so much sharing this part of your life with us. And I hope that people listening that already have gone through something similar or may in the future can take comfort knowing that they're not alone and get some suggestions from you on how to make that an easier transition.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us today that I haven't asked?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm a photographer and I will always tell you to get the photos done, whether it's family photos or birth photos or whatever. No one regrets having their photos taken. I mean, no one regrets it. So I'm always an advocate of it. So
perfect. And where can people go to find out more about what you offer and see some examples of your work?
Yeah. So my website, which is just alexandriamooneyphotography.com. And then I have a couple Facebook pages and Instagram. I have one for like my regular families and newborns, and then one for my birth work, and then another one just for like my captures for Clark stuff. So it's kind of got everything all in different spots, but, so tailored to, what people are looking for to follow, because I get plenty of people who are well past having baby age and maybe don't necessarily want to see a bunch of birth photos all the time. So They can follow my family account.
Perfect. So, and we will have links to all that in the description so that people can find you easily.
Perfect.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We just got finished talking with Alex Mooney, a photographer who specializes in birth photography and also has a volunteer business called Captures for Clark. If you're interested in learning more information about either of those facets of her business, you can look at her website or on her social media, all of which will be linked in the description below. Thank you so much for your time watching today.